So tell me something. How did you start in this business?
Girl, I started in radio, bitch, by calling in the radio station. I moved to Dallas in 1989. Called the radio station, Russ Parr. I don't know what I told him on the air, but honey, he liked it. And I kept on calling every damn day until eventually, honey, like when Russ would go out on remotes, I would go meet him out on remotes, him and Alfreda's, and I would go meet them out on the remotes, girl, and honey, he would pay me $20, girl. And sometimes he would give me tickets to the event. And I just started doing, I did that, and then eventually I said, okay, Russ, I'm tired of this. I want to get hired by the radio station. So he said, well, apply. So I applied at the radio station, and they hired me, girl. They gave me a job. I was an associate producer. Okay. And what did that entail, bitch? I was the telephone operator. People were calling, I want to request Lil Wayne. Bitch, I would write Lil Wayne down. That was the associate producer, baby. So I did that for a while, but I was happy, honey, because in the meantime, I was in the medical field because I was going to school to be an RN. My mama wanted me to be a nurse. So I was going to school to be an RN. So I was doing radio, playing with that, and working in the medical field. So eventually after that happened, with associate producer, I'll never forget, I went to Cancun for a vacation. Came back, bitch, the station was gone. They had flipped it over, honey. It was no longer hip hop, honey. So I hung around and I got hired, honey, as in the promotions department. So I worked in promotions for a little while. You could drive up and down the street, honey, in the van, giving out prizes. And then along came a man named Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey came to Dallas. He was working in LA and in Dallas. So when he would come to the station, I would just sit down and go in the studio and talk shit to him. So eventually Steve gave me a job, honey. He hired me as I was doing the horoscopes. Because he didn't want me to do celebrity gossip because, he was a celebrity. He wanted to talk about his colleagues. So I did the horoscopes. And he changed my name from Gary to Drew because his producer name was Gary. He was white, so they called him White Gary, and they called me Gay Gary. So I did that. So I worked with him. I did the horoscopes, and then Steve stayed for a little while, and he left. So he had a party at the Playboy Mansion in Beverly Hills. So he flew me down to the Playboy Mansion to his party and stuff. And then there was a guy named Rickey Smiley. So then I met Rickey Smiley. He came to Dallas. He took over the thing. So I was doing radio at the time, but the program director, he didn't want me to work on the radio. So I got hired as Rickey's assistant. So I worked as his assistant for 8 years. And I told him, I said, Rickey, I do radio, which I did because Steve had already told him. But nevertheless, they let me, the program director said, well, we'll let him do radio, but he's going to do it 1 day a week. So I did radio. They let me do the gossip 1 day a week. Well, I'm like, okay. His Rickey manager said, Gary, do that shit as if it's going to be a year. Work hard at it. So I did it for 1 day a week. Then I took 2 days a week, Mondays and Wednesdays. Then I did it from Monday, Wednesdays to Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Then, because the gossip was so good, bitch, they had to put it on every day during the week. It was so great. They said, well, we can't do it one time a week. They started doing it twice a week, twice a day, every day during the week. And it got even better, so they started doing it 3 times a day, every day during the week. And that's my radio. And I went to school too. Now I went to school. I stopped going to nursing school, so I went to broadcasting school, and I got my license in broadcasting, which nobody really needed that, but I got it for me because I wanted it for me because I don't want to be working with somebody when they doing shop talk and my ass looking crazy and not knowing what they're talking about. So I got my license in radio, and after I got the license, I said, well, honey, you got 2 strikes against you, black and gay, so bitch, go get your degree. So I deferred that loan, and we got my bachelor's degree in business management, honey, and here I is today.
Wow, Gary.
So that's, and other shit along the way, but that's basically, how it went, and, so that's how I started doing it.
So I love because you were on a pathway to doing one thing, and you went to doing a different thing, which is really, am I correct to say this is your passion?
Yep, and I love nursing. If radio ended today, honey, I'm going back to nursing, honey, because I love nursing and what have you. I love what I do, and I loved it a lot. I mean, my dad was a mortician, and I didn't want to do that, so I wound up, going to school for nursing, but I really loved it a lot. But I love radio and TV as well, but, honey, it could be something, though, bitch, honey. You on the outside looking in, everything looks glamorous, but boo-boo, it's not. So it's not at all, honey. I will say that.
What would you say to people? Because that's an entry point. It's an interesting point. We always say, I think people who are not celebrities or in the business get tired of us going, it's not what it seems. Because they like, well, bitch, give me a chance to say it's not what it seems.
Exactly.
mamas. Two funny mamas. Two funny mamas.